The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments." The Gospel of the Lord. Who is the greatest? Who is the greatest? This is a question that gets asked a lot, especially in sports. And as basketball season just concluded, strange year, the debate raises Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Maybe even some people would say Kobe Bryant. Now that we're in football season, might be Drew Brees or who's that guy in Tampa? Tom Brady? And different people would have different reasons. And in an effort, we can go to certain authorities in these sportscasters and former players, and ask them their opinion. And sometimes, depending on who's asking the question and the circumstances surrounding it, people can try to lure this authority into giving an answer that might cause controversy. For if someone asks Peyton Manning on a night when Drew Brees and Tom Brady are playing, who is the greatest? Well, what is he supposed to say? He'll probably say, "I am," actually. But he's really in a no-win situation. He's in trouble no matter what he says, no matter what he does. And in this way, they can throw out his answer and discredit him as an authority. And in today's gospel, this is exactly what the Pharisees are trying to do to Jesus. They're trying to trap him in a situation where there's no right answer. And in this way, they can discredit him in front of the people and discount him as an authority. So we hear they ask him, "Who is the greatest? What is the greatest commandment?" And in this way, they want him to choose from the over 600 laws that the Jews had to follow. And this teacher is ready to argue that if Jesus chooses wrongly, he's ready to say, "Jesus, you're wrong," no matter what Jesus says. If he chooses they should honor God, then he'll say you're neglecting the people. And if he chooses they should help the people, they will argue he's neglecting God. And so they think they have him trapped. But Jesus breaks out of this difficult and seemingly improbable situation. And he gives them an answer they're not prepared for. He says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments." And in this way, Jesus brings together two commandments, one from Deuteronomy and the other from Leviticus, that were both very important to the Jewish people. But they had never been combined before in this way. And so by doing so, Jesus manages to summarize the 10 Commandments. For if we think of the 10 Commandments, the first 3 deal with God. Know God before me, do not take my name in vain, honor the Sabbath. And the other 7 deal with people, honoring our parents, not killing, not committing adultery, not stealing, not bearing false witness, not coveting goods or neighbors. And so in this way, Jesus covers all the bases. But what is more, he makes the other commands of the Lord dependent on these 2 commandments. So he reveals to us what is foundational in his opinion. What is foundational is following God's plan. And he gives us his secret, if you will, for being a great Christian. So if my brothers and sisters, we want to be great Christians, great Catholics, then we should listen to Jesus' advice. So the first step is loving God with our mind, heart, and soul. So basically loving God with our whole self. Not just part, but our whole self. So we should use our minds to learn more about God. And we should use our hearts and our bodies to glorify God, AMDG, which we say in the straight community. And we should use our souls to praise and worship through spending time in prayer and coming to Mass or streaming Mass like we're doing now. So if we want to be a great Christian, we start with loving God. And next he says, love others as we love ourselves. So the second step is loving ourselves for how we can love others if we don't care about ourselves or take care of ourselves or even love ourselves. But we can love ourselves too much. And so it can be difficult to love others because we have certain standards and expectations. Maybe we're hard on ourselves and that transfers over to the people around us. In contrast, if we don't love ourselves, then how can we love others? But if we're in right relationship with ourselves, then we can be in right relationship with others. Then we know how to treat others. We know how others would like to be treated and not treated. And so then loving God, being aware of ourselves, we move to loving others. And if we have any questions about what is and what is not allowed when it comes to how we do or not do to express our love and care for others, then we have the other teachings of the church to guide us and form our consciences. And so there it is, my brothers and sisters, Jesus' 3-step plan to being a great Christian. Love God, love ourselves, love others. Now, being a great Christian does not have to be a one-time event. It can be a team event, like basketball or football. I think a good reminder of this is if we think about our students, or maybe our catechumens who are starting to get ready to start their preparation to join the church in Easter. They're a team. And here at Strake Jesuit, in our community, in our Cristo Rey community, we're a team. We help each other to be the best that we can be. And so let's try to be a sign of support or to a role model or a brother or a sister to each other. Often enough, we've experienced having a mentor, and many of our great athletes have had another athlete who's mentored them. So let us consider working on being a great Christian and then mentoring someone to be a great Christian by helping them to love God, to love themselves, and to love others. And in this way, my brothers and sisters, together we can make the Catholic Church a great example of Jesus Christ.